One, I am Marwan Cameron. This is the conduit. It is that time. It is election time. And as such, we want to get into this voter pamphlet. And I do want to share some information with you. So why don't we go ahead and get right into it? We're not even going to wait today. All right. So, as I was saying on an earlier show, Kitsap County official local voters pamphlet was mailed out. And so you should have received that in the mail. You can access that online. I will put that in the chat here as I am accessing it online. It's the same thing that's here in the physical copy. Of course, you can go to your library if you need access to a computer. You can always come over to New Horizon Ministries if you need a computer, and you can peruse the official local voters pamphlet, which I think is really important. The primary is this Tuesday, a week from yesterday. Time is running out. Okay. So as you can see here, ballots will be mailed out July 15th. So that was just a couple weeks ago. All right. And it says here, dear Kitsap County voters, thank you for your participation in our democracy. To assist you, uh, as you decide who to support, we offer this pamphlet, which includes statements from 65 candidates running for 18 different positions in 2022. On our website, you will find even more ways to stay in the know about the election and about your ballot here at kitsap.gov elections. Okay. Again, another important resource here. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat also for you. Okay. And what I'm going to do is whoops, sorry about that. I'm going to break things up into small, digestible pieces because there's a lot to cover here. But, time is short and I have been super busy. So I did want to get a chance to, cover this stuff for you. So, like I said, I will keep these short so that we have them. All right. So, what you'll find is the online version of the pamphlet, a link that shows you where your ballot is in the process, whether it was sent, received by us, accepted, the ballot return statistics that show what the turnout is for each jurisdiction in the election, a webcam that shows the main ballot processing room, which allows you to see election workers processing ballots in real time, links to past election results, information and military overseas for military and overseas voters, and information about voter registration. All right. All right. So about this pamphlet, you may notice a difference in this one. The printer we used in the past few years is in the middle of moving its presses and will be unavailable this year. We struggled to find a printer in Washington that could print an 11 by 17 tabloid format. Usually they're a lot way bigger with as many pages as we believed we would need. So we decided instead of having this pamphlet printed outside of Washington. We'd redesign it with smaller pages for elections this year. This is the format change we discussed in years past, and it matches the format the state uses. You can email the auditor at Kitsap and tell us what you think. Well, I may do that because I actually like the smaller version than the big one. I do appreciate the bigger words, but this is a lot easier to control. So I do like that. This gives you a table of contents of everything that's in there. All right, so you've got various phone numbers here and different sources of information, mailing address and physical address, candidate statement standards, right? That you can read here. They talk about the top two for the primary. The purpose of the primary is to reduce the number of candidates in each race to two for the general election. Voters may vote for any one candidate in each contest. Voters are voting for candidates, not choosing a political party's nominees. The two candidates that receive the most votes in the August primary advance to the general election. Candidates must receive at least 1% of the total votes cast for their position in order to be placed on the general election ballot. It is possible that candidates who advance to the general election prefer the same party, right? So two people that get the two top that get the same amount of votes might both be Republicans or they might both be Democrats. Okay, nonpartisan offices primary. A primary is held if there are more candidates, uh, if three or more candidates file for a nonpartisan position. If no more than two candidates file, they appear only on the general election ballot in the order determined by lot. Okay, some information if you're military, overseas, or early ballots. Write-in ballots, which votes can be counted? Primary election write-in votes can only be counted if the candidate filed a declaration of write-in candidacy, and in a primary, there are enough write-in votes for the candidate to come in second, or in the general election, enough votes for a candidate to win. Candidates and commitment statements, your right to privacy, participating jurisdiction, any questions you need, or if you need a replacement ballot, uh, if you haven't received it by July 21, or if it was damaged or lost, you can replace or request another one. All right. So to get here, who may vote? To be eligible to vote, one must register and be a citizen of the United States, a legal Washington resident, at the registration address for at least 30 days prior to the election day, at least 18 years old. In the August primary, a 17-year-old who will be 18 by the November general election can vote in candidate races, except for PCO races. Okay. Not currently serving a sentence of total confinement in prison for a Washington felony conviction, not currently incarcerated for a federal or out of state felony conviction, not disqualified from voting due to a court order. Here are your options for registering. You can register online at www.votewa.gov. Go ahead and put that up in the chat for you there. Whoops. So you have that. All right, you just ain't gonna cooperate with me. All right, copy that link address. Let me go ahead and put that in there. Bam. All right. If you have a name change, if you need to update your voter record, like maybe you moved, your address is different. When you need to register. Okay. So individuals may register to vote anytime. To vote in the August 2nd primary, the deadline is July 25th. So that was 2 days ago. Deadline for mail or online voter registrations, updates and changes. August 2nd, in person deadline for voter registration, updates and changes. Citizens may register until 8 p.m. on election day. Okay. You may register until 8 p.m. on election day for the August 2nd. It's too late for the primary, but it's still good for the general election. Okay. By appearing in person at the county auditor's office, registration will also be available the Saturday and Monday before Election Day and on Election Day at the vote centers at the Marvin Williams Recreation Center and the Poulsbo Fire Station. If you need to cancel your voter registration, you can do that here. All right. Voter centers and accessible voting. Okay. If it's before Election Day, here's where you can go. And here's the list of voter centers here. Marvin Williams Center, the Poulsbo Fire Station, the Kitsap County Administration Building. Okay. A lot of online ballot access, which makes it very convenient. If you want some information on political parties, you can get that there. All right. And just want to kind of scroll down here. Okay. So this is how you complete a ballot, right? How to vote. Use a dark blue or black ink pen to completely fill in the box to the left of your choice. Do not use pencil. Mark one choice in each contest. If you mark more than one choice, no vote will be counted for that contest, right? Don't disqualify your own vote. Secure. Place the voted pamphlet in a secrecy sleeve. Place the secrecy sleeve inside the lavender return envelope. Sign, date, and seal. Read, sign, and date the voter declaration on the lavender return envelope. You must sign the lavender return envelope in order for your ballot to be counted, right? Follow directions. Go low here. You don't want to lose out on your vote. Sign your name in dark ink. Seal the lavender return envelope. Okay, so they give you some ways on how to do this. Okay, don't go, do not use a check mark, do not use an X, do not use pencil, and no single lines. Okay. All right. Here are the 24-hour drop boxes. There are a number of them throughout Kitsap County. Too many to list here, but you can access those. And I'll leave that kind of on the screen there for a second. There are a ton. So lots of accessibility here. Okay. Lots of accessibility, even on the base. All right. There are some new voting rights in Washington. We heard some of our folks talking about this last week. 17-year-old primary only voters. Beginning with the August 2nd, 2022 primary, a pre registered voter who is 17 years old but will be 18 before the November 22 general election can vote on most races in the primary. For this election, they are referred to as primary only voters and are eligible to vote in races where candidates for the general election are selected. They are not allowed to vote on a ballot measure or precinct committee officer races. Well, thank you for that, Michael. Michael says, if you want to vote and cannot get to a drop box, I will personally come and get your ballot and drop it off. All right. Okay. All right, pre registration is available to future voters who are 16 years old so they can receive a ballot when they are 18. All prospective voters, including future voters, can register at the Kitsap County Elections Office at 619 Division Street in Port Orchard, at one of the three vote centers. Dates and times are on page 4, where you can get your driver's license, or online at votewa.gov. The online deadline for mail or electronic registration is July 25th in person, and registration is available until 8 p.m. on election day at the elections office and voter centers. This is important as we had a bunch of juniors in our community breakfast today, and so it's really important that many of them may be eligible to vote. So we want to make sure that people know, right? Oftentimes these new things get pushed through and nobody told me. So I'm telling y'all. All right. So this is one that I really wanted to focus on here. I'm going to enlarge this. Okay. Felony conviction and voting rights. New legislation, again, nobody told me, went into effect January 1, 2022, regarding convicted felons and their right to vote. If you were convicted of a felony, when can you vote again? All right. If you were convicted of a felony in Washington, your right is to vote is restored once you are no longer serving a sentence of total confinement in prison. Okay? Step 1, or scenario 1. If you are convicted of a felony in another state or federal court, your right to vote is restored once you are no longer serving a sentence of total confinement in prison. So this is another state or federal. And then lastly, you do not lose your right to vote for a misdemeanor conviction or a conviction in the juvenile court. Now, do you need to register? Once your right to vote is restored, you must register to vote, even if you were registered before your conviction. You do not need a certificate of discharge to register to vote. All prospective voters can register at the Kitsap County Elections Office at 619 Division Street in Port Orchard, at one of the three centers on page 4, where you get your driver's license, or at votewa.gov. Right. Yeah, there you go. Miss Simmons, hard work right there. Absolutely. Let me give her a horn for that. All right. And so this is really important information for those that have been convicted of a felony, right? You may not have heard this news that you have the ability to vote. Okay. And let me tell you, it is super easy to do online. So if I go here and I click votewa.gov, and again, that was in the chat, I'm going to show you how easy it is. Okay. Register to vote and learn what's on your ballot. Okay. Let me see if I can come up with a different name here. I'm gonna call myself Marcus Cameron. Okay, and I'll make my birthday 25th. Well, I'm 25 years old, so I was born in let's see, 20. How about 2000? 20, I'm 22. All right. All right. So we're unable to find a registered voter, right? So I'm going to click on register to vote. For the current election, the deadline to register online or mail has passed. If you registered online or by mail, your registration will not become active until after the election. You can still register in person at your county elections office. If you're military or overseas, you may still register to vote online for the current election. The deadline for the August primary is July 25th, online and by mail. Registrations must be received. Now through August 2nd, register to vote in person by 8 p.m. at your county elections office. So, right now, your only option is to register to vote in person. You can't do online, right? But for next year, this is all you need. You must be a citizen of the United States. If you have any questions about your citizenship, contact U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. You will need a current Washington State driver license, permit, or card. Okay. Am I a citizen? Yes. Am I at least 16 years old and will not vote in the special or general election until I turn 18? Yes. Do I have identification? Oh, let's say I do. I don't really want to put my actual license in there. Let me do this. This might not let me go to the next page, but we'll try. Let's say my registration for my driver's license or my ID. Oh, I got it on. Well, I probably didn't get it on New Year's Day. Let's see. I got it in 2017. My first name, right? I was Marcus. No middle name, and my last name was Cameron. All right. I said my birthday was January 20 of 2020 or 2000, sorry. And putting my gender is optional. Okay. I'll click next. Like I said, this may not let me go because it's going to look and say, hey, there ain't no ID like that on there. Right. And that's what it's saying, right? No DOL record was shown. So if I actually put my identification in here and I went next, there's like one more page, and then that's pretty much it. That's how easy it is to register to vote online. Again, you need to do it in person if you want to vote in the general election on November. Okay. But again, it is that simple. It is that simple. So I encourage you to take advantage of this if and share it, right? Don't assume that everyone registered to vote. Don't assume that someone who has been a friend or a family member or someone you work with who's been convicted of a felony or maybe even a misdemeanor and thinks that they're not eligible to vote anymore, and they actually are. So please spread the word. You can point them to this YouTube, and they can listen and watch and see how easy it is. They can contact folks in the voter pamphlet or kitsap.gov, and I put all those things in the chat for you. But please, please, please get the word out, okay? Folks have the right to vote, and they need to vote. So again, I encourage you to share this information with folks, okay? All right, like I said, I was going to keep this short. 'Cause I want it to be digestible for folks. Man, I did it in under 20 minutes. All right. So that's how fast it is. Again, if you have been convicted of a felony, you can have your right to vote is automatically restored. You will still need to register to vote. So let's say you were convicted of a felony 2 years ago and you're out now and everything is clear. You still have to re-register to vote, even if you were able to register to vote previously. And it's that quick and that easy. Again, you have to do it in person now because the deadline was on July 25th. You can go to 6619 Division Street in Port Orchard to do that. All right. I hope you found this helpful. Again, I'm Arwan Cameron. This is The Conduit. See you next time.